Smith on the right, not starting at quarterback today for the 49ers, but he is one of the captains, Darrell, and was out for the coin toss as Jim Harbaugh pumps up his starting quarterback, Colin Kaepernick.
I don't think we can lose sight of the fact that this whole situation is made workable because they do have a strong team in San Francisco and because who Alex Smith is. Being a captain, that's voted by your teammates. That's the respect that these guys have for Alex Smith and the way he has handled this publicly. I know it's tearing him up inside, but he has not given anybody an opportunity to create any distraction for the San Francisco 49ers.
Standing right behind his head coach as David Akers gets things started. 49ers won the toss, elected to defer. Chris Givens takes a knee, so the Rams will start from their own 20-yard line, led onto the field by the former Heisman Trophy winner out of Oklahoma, Sam Bradford.
Yeah, it was funny talking to San Francisco about the St. Louis Rams and, what kind of team do you see this year under Jeff Fisher? And they reminded us, hey, we didn't play against Sam Bradford last year in either one of our divisional games. Sam Bradford had a nice afternoon against San Francisco 3 weeks ago.
Steven Jackson in the backfield, as Goose mentioned. The Rams are without their leading receiver, Danny Amendola. Three wide receivers on 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. And the first pass of the game by Bradford, knocked down by Ahmad Brooks.
They've got that offensive line back together again. Scott Wells coming in at center for the first time last week against Arizona. We've seen how important those 5 guys are around the NFL this year. And as Tony pointed out, no Danny Amendola today. He was very, very big in that game 3 weeks ago. 11 catches, over 100 yards. I agree. Chris Givens, Brian Quick, they've got to step up and make some plays on the outside.
On 2nd and 10, this is Jackson. Rams all-time leading rusher takes it out to the 24-yard line. Patrick Willis makes the tackle, and there are late penalty markers thrown.
Late penalty markers because this is a divisional game, and these guys do not like each other. And this front against this offensive line, you got R.B. Dahl and Justin Smith. It's going to be tense. There's going to be some tempers flying out there. It's going to be fun to watch. It was a physical battle the last time around. I expect the same thing this afternoon.
Yeah, don't take your eyes off Aldon Smith now. That guy is a slippery man and gets in the backfield and causes havoc. Him and Justin Smith is a combo unit.
Personal foul is the call. Ahmad Brooks. So a new set of downs for the Rams up at the 39-yard line.
Ahmad Brooks might still be mad from that first play. I think he probably felt they had an interception.
From the 39, the kid to number 39, Steven Jackson, and it's Justin Smith coming up to make the tackle. Gain of 3 for Jackson.
Steven Jackson does not get enough credit for the body of work he has had through his entire career here in St. Louis. You see his numbers for this season. But here's a guy who comes to the NFL, and the St. Louis Rams goes 8-8 in his rookie year, and it has been a struggle since that point. And he has put up some phenomenal numbers on some pretty tough teams here in St. Louis.
Rush for 101 against the 49ers in the overtime game 3 weeks ago. It's Jackson again. Wants to cut to the outside. And Dante Whitner makes the tackle. Jackson gained 6, stopped a yard shy of a first down.
Yeah, with San Francisco, their defense going with a 4-man front, Steven Jackson makes a cut right up the middle. See him right there, right behind Scott Wells. Does a nice job, a little bit of a forearm, but can't quite get to that first down marker. You don't want to arm tackle that guy, Darrell.
I don't think you can. Yeah.
Now 3rd down and 1 for St. Louis. Opening drive of the game extended by a penalty. There's Jackson again. It will depend on the spot. And Jackson looks to be just short.
A lot of collisions between these two here. Patrick Willis versus Steven Jackson, 39 and 52. Look at that, right in the hole. All right, for all you young guys out there that want to play linebacker, during the course of this game, I want you to watch Patrick Willis. His footwork, his position at impact. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody better over the last few years, playing that inside linebacker than Patrick Willis is always in perfect position.
Ted Ginn Jr. back deep, awaiting Johnny Hecker's punt. Fair catch is called for by Ginn at the 14-yard line. When we return, Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers offense, but there is a flag following the punt. Carl Jeffers, our referee today. Long discussion with the head linesman Ken Payne.
During the kick, illegal block in the back, number 43 of the kicking team. That 10-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down, San Francisco. Timeout.
That's on Craig Dahl. Kaepernick of the Niners offense next. First offensive series for the San Francisco 49ers. Colin Kaepernick's third start. No 49ers quarterback has ever won his first three starts. You had a look at Alex Smith on the sidelines. Now Carl Jeffers chatting with the line judge Tom Simonette. A couple of early flags in this game as the officiating crew huddles up.
I tell you what, as a player, the one thing you hate is the start of a game like this, because you're trying to establish a flow to the game, to get into a rhythm, and these start and stops just really wreak havoc on offenses. The penalty was correctly
enforced. The end of the kick was the 15-yard line, 10 yards to the 25.
So the question regarding the spot of the football. Now we are set. First and 10 from the 25-yard line. Kaepernick looking to throw on first down. He checks it down, and Frank Gore unable to make the catch with Rocky McIntosh on the coverage.
Well, the 49ers offense, we talked about St. Louis's offensive line. These guys right here, I heard Troy say last week that it reminds him of the offensive line group that we played. They won the Madden Most Valuable Protector group for the third time this year last week in their game against New Orleans. They make everything possible for this group right here. And we'll keep an eye on Vernon Davis. He's always a mismatch in that passing game. We'll see what St. Louis has in store for him.
Second and 10. From the 25-yard line, it's Gore. Gore able to find a hole. He gains 3 out to the 28-yard line. James Laurinaitis made a tackle for the 12th-ranked Rams defensive unit.
And the heart of the defense is right there. That front four for the St. Louis Rams. That's the group that gets everything going. Big guys in the middle to clog everything up. Speed and athletic guys off the edge. James Laurinaitis, they talk about him. He knows the scheme. He's going to direct everything. It's going to be fun to watch him going at it with Colin Kaepernick. Janoris Jenkins, 2 touchdowns last week in that win versus Arizona.
3 wide receivers set. Third down at 6. Play clock winding down. Kaepernick skips away from pressure. And then is out of bounds right at the 30-yard line. Gain of 1. 49ers forced to punt.
Yeah, Janoris Jenkins gets turned loose to the quarterback. Number 21, he's going to come from the right side. Now, he's not in the right spot. You've got to go to the upfield shoulder. He's underneath. Colin Kaepernick just spins out. When you're pressuring him, pressure him on the shoulder, the back shoulder, so he has to step up. You do not want Colin Kaepernick to be able to release to the outside.
Austin Pettis back deep for the Rams. Awaiting Andy Lee's kick. Let him go! And moving punt by Lee. Taken back at the 9-yard line by Pettis. Pettis stays on his feet. Cut down at the 16 following the 61-yard punt. Guess what? Another flag. Penalty marker on the far side. Looks to be a hold against the Rams.
Maybe we'll get through one.
During the kick, holding number 21 of the return team. That penalty will be measured half the distance to the goal. First down, St. Louis. Timeout.
One special team play with no penalty there, Kenny.
Let's hope. No score in St. Louis. Rams took a 14-0 lead in the first meeting 3 weeks ago, which ended in a tie. St. Louis starts back at the 5-yard line following the penalty on special teams. Bradford throws on first down. It's caught by Givens, the rookie out of Wake Forest. Out across the 10 for a gain of 6. And Sam Bradford has had some of his best success, not only this season, but over the first 3 seasons of his career in the first quarter of games.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive to see what he's done. But now, we've got to be able to get that through the rest of the game. And that's the next step that Sam Bradford has to take. A lot of times when you've got that scripted set, those first 15 that a lot of people talk about, you've got that in your mindset. Now Sam's just got to carry that momentum that he establishes in the first quarter to the remainder of the game.
On 2nd and 5, it's Jackson.
I'm really surprised about this offense right here with Steven Jackson. Usually they like to go and bring it up the middle. Little zone blocking right here. Steven Jackson can't find the hole. Backside was all covered up by the San Francisco defensive line. Doing a nice job of going, identifying, and running past, man. They got 8 guys in the box, but everybody's coming to get a little piece of Steven Jackson.
Nice tackle by Isaac Soblaga. Now 3rd down and 5. Rams send out 4 wideouts. Givens in motion. They must get to the 15-yard line for a first down. Bradford can't find anyone from the end zone. He throws it out of bounds. It crossed the line of scrimmage. So the Rams will send out the punting unit.
It's a nice job by San Francisco's defense because they did not start out well the game last time 3 weeks ago. There's the coverage right there. Sam Bradford really nowhere to go. That was coming from the backside. Here's the front side that he's looking at. Not any options for Sam Bradford.
So Hecker punting for the 2nd time, set up in his end zone. It's a Rams bounce away from Ted Ginn Jr. And it is out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Good field position for the Niners. 49ers back to work. First place in the NFC West with a record of 8-2-1. Unbeaten over their last 5. From the 40-yard line, it's Gore. Found the hole across midfield. And Frank Gore is finally tackled at the Rams' 36-yard line. He gains 23.
One of the great things about Frank Gore is he doesn't hit his top gear until that hole opens up. Watch the patience of Frank Gore. He allows everybody to get a hat on a hat, lets those blocks develop. Okay, now, when he sees that opening, that's when he explodes through. You see a lot of running backs sometimes press that hole so hard that when it does open, they've either missed it or they're beyond it.
New tight end set. Delaney Walker shifting from the Rams' 37-yard line. Kaepernick wrapped up. Down he goes. Back at the 46, William Hayes, who played for Jeff Fisher in Tennessee, now with 3.5 sacks this season.
I think this is what we're going to see during the course of the afternoon, Tony. They're going to add a guy to the blitz to add an additional rusher to those lanes so Colin Kaepernick doesn't have anywhere to escape.
What they do is a nice job of bringing all the big guys to the right and exposing that left-hand side, knowing that you're going to get a one-on-one. And just keep pushing that pocket. Never know who's ever going to come through on that one.
Rams, Tony, 4th in the league in sacks, now with 32. Second down and 17. Off the play fake. Kaepernick dumps it off to the fullback, Bruce Miller. And Miller takes it down to the 32-yard line, setting up.
That's a fullback face right there, Kenny.
Wow.
Sorry I had to jump on you, but we got to get that one in. Chin strap in the mouth, the sweat coming out, stuff coming out of his nose, the beard. I mean, let's take a look at it. Lowers the shoulders, keeps moving forward, gets about 3 more yards afterwards, and then comes up with that good old ugly face. Typical fullback, right, Moose?
Not only that, just a straight-out football player. That's a college defensive lineman converted to fullback.
Kaepernick on 3rd and 6. Looks for the chains. And picks up a first down.
And this is really probably one of the big reasons for the change to Colin Kaepernick. When Jim Harbaugh talks about having the hot hand, is when plays are covered and you can't find anybody open down the field, the ability to create something there. Not saying that Alex Smith is not athletic. He is. We've seen Alex Smith do the same thing. Colin Kaepernick is deceptively quick. Those long strides. He's gaining a lot of ground and you don't even know it.
Now the 49ers with 3 tight ends in the game on first down. The handoff to Gore. And Gore takes it to the 19-yard line. Gain of 7 before he was tackled by Quentin Michael.
Really attacking that left side of that defense, or going in behind the left side of the offensive line, the right side of that defense. On that run play, I don't know if they see something there, but I'm keeping my eyes open. Those guys got to shed blocks a little bit better, that defensive line, to get out Frank Gore. Don't want to get him started.
A good start for Gore so far. Second down at 3. Gore again drags a couple of Rams with him. Takes it down to the 17-yard line before he was tackled by Jamel Cudjoe.
6 rushing plays, 3 passing plays for the San Francisco 49ers right now, trying to get Frank Gore established. We've talked about Steven Jackson. Frank Gore, very similar in style. We've seen him already break a couple of nice runs here this afternoon, that patience, but he's physical. You saw in that last one, he carries a lot of defenders with him and moves that pile also.
Brandon Jacobs in the backfield. An extra blocker, 67. Daniel Kilgore has checked in. Jacobs inactive for the first 10 games. This only his 2nd carry as a 49er, and the former Giant, 2-time Super Bowl champ, picks up a first down.
And one of the things that Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, told us about Brandon Jacobs, when we're going to use him in the game, we've got to get him going downhill. He's a big man. We do not want him to have to stop his feet. So you're going to see running plays designed where Brandon Jacobs has the confidence to just hit that hole. There's Greg Roman on the left. That last play is a wham play. So you're going to pull on the right side. You're going to have somebody pull across, knock that out. That gives Brandon Jacobs the trust that he can just hit that hole full speed.
One thing Greg Roman does is he does a great job of keeping defenses off balance, throwing so much at him. That wham play is something that defensive linemen do not like.
Now Kaepernick with loads of time hits the fullback Miller once again. Came into the game with 5 receptions this season, has 2 in the first quarter.
He's got to get his chin strap fixed. It keeps rolling up to his nose every time he gets tackled.
I'll tell you what, they do not want Colin Kaepernick to feel comfortable in that pocket. They're doing a nice job of bringing pressure. They're trying to keep him as uncomfortable as possible.
How about this package? Daniel Kilgore, Leonard Davis, and Will Tukuafu all on the field. The jumbo package. And Gore gets tripped up by Quentin Michael.
Quentin Michael does a nice job of going and just throwing his body, tripping up Frank Gore. You got those big guys. You want to not take them on head on. You want to go and try to slide by them and just get some penetration. That was a nice tackle right there.
Now all 3 of those big guys head off the field. 10th play of the drive upcoming for the Niners. Third down and 4. The slant is caught for a first down by Mario Manningham inside the Rams' 2-yard line.
This is a nice throw by Colin Kaepernick right here. Mario Manningham working, gets inside quick, caught Janoris Jenkins kind of flat-footed. Mario Manningham beat him really quickly off the release.
One thing you got to worry about here with Colin Kaepernick is his ability to go and run. Very athletic.
Tukuafu back in as the fullback. On first and goal, it's Gore. Cuts to the inside, and he is in for the touchdown.
Again, it's the patience of Frank Gore, the kick out by Will Tukuafu, and then just back up inside. Shoulder square, body lean in the right position. He's a tough physical runner.
That defensive line needs to go and get down. A couple of those defensive linemen got caught with their chest up and got driven out of there. A nice lane for Frank Gore. He appreciates that, I'm sure.
6th rushing touchdown this season. Here is David Akers. Akers connects. 49ers strike first here in St. Louis. A 60-yard drive. Gore into the end zone. 7-0 San Fran. Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers out to a 7-0 lead, an 11-play, 60-yard scoring drive.
And one of the things you can't overlook about Colin Kaepernick, that's a great drive right there. We talk about his escapability, and he's going to throw the ball down the field and have, some big plays there. But, the second half drive he had against New Orleans last week, 16 plays, it was phenomenal. Those are also the other things that he brings to that position.
Rams will start from the 20. Trailing 7-0 in Colin Kaepernick's 3rd NFL start. Well, Jeff Fisher referred to this first quarter as quarter number 6 between the Rams and the 49ers. The tie has been broken. 7-0 lead for San Francisco as Justin Smith comes up to make the tackle on Steven Jackson, the University of Missouri product, who's gone to the last 3 Pro Bowls.
He is a force inside.
Beast.
And one of the best guys you'll ever meet. You talk about guys who are just about team. We've got a couple of them in here. I mean, Steven Jackson, Frank Gore, and Justin Smith, guys that we spoke to during the course of this weekend, all about team, and maybe no more than Justin Smith.
Jim Harbaugh called Justin the 49ers' most valuable player last season. 2nd down and 10. Bradford hitting Gibbons. And Gibbons, with a good second effort, takes it all the way out to the 29-yard line for a gain of 9.
That's a real nice effort by Gibbons right there. Now, not smart right now to be taking on Aldon Smith at the end of that play. But, here's a guy, he's a speed guy. You don't think about Chris Gibbons lowering the shoulder and carrying people. Deshaun Goldson's trying to get that ball out before he's got that tackle secured.
Yeah, and Aldon Smith's standing there thinking that he's went down already. He needs to go and get involved in that play league.
Gibbons, the rookie out of Wake Forest. Third down and a long one for Sam Bradford of the Rams. Bradford with time, airing it out, looking for Gibbons. With Chris Culliver on the coverage, no flags.
Culliver does a nice job there, Darryl, using his body to force him out of bounds.
Well, using the sideline is part of his defense. It's a double move. He doesn't bite on it, and then he just forces Chris Gibbons out of bounds. You see the official take the hat off. That means he was out of bounds. He couldn't even be the first player to touch that ball after he came back inbounds.
That's a young guy going against a guy who's a little bit older, who understands little things that can help you as a defender and hurt you as a receiver.
Johnny Hecker would like the clock pumped back up, the play clock. 3rd Rams possession, 3rd Hecker punt. With Ted Ginn Jr. back deep. Let him go! Punt lands out of bounds just inside the 40. Good field position for the Niners once again. Well, Saturday the UFC returns to Fox. Lightweight champion Benson Henderson puts his title on the line against top contender Nate Diaz, highlighting a full night of epic fights. Coverage of UFC on Fox 5 begins Saturday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox. Here in St. Louis, Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers out to a 7-0 lead. They started their last drive, their scoring drive, the exact same spot on their own 40. They drove 60 yards in 11 plays. Brandon Jacobs in the backfield along with the fullback Miller. 2 tight ends, Davis and Walker. On first down, it's Jacobs. His second carry. Takes it out to the 42, wrapped up by Kendall Langford. Time for a game break to Los Angeles. Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Bears defense creates their league-leading 34th turnover, and the offense turns it into points against Seattle. Earl Bennett up, over, and in. 7-0 Chicago leads. They wind down the first quarter. Kenny Moose and Moose.
Thanks, Kurt. Seahawks in the wild card hunt. Second place in the NFC West, trailing the Bears in Chicago. Gore in the backfield, second down and 8. Kaepernick fires, and it's complete in Rams territory to Randy Moss. And Moss picks up a first down, gain of 16.
I think the thing that impresses me most about Colin Kaepernick being a young quarterback, watch Chris Long, 91. He's going to come up the field. He's working with Frank Gore. He's going to squeeze that pocket down. He doesn't look to run with the football. He steps up, buys some time, and watch this laser to Randy Moss. Everybody talks about the velocity he puts on the football. There's a great example right there.
He was a pitcher in high school, threw 2 no-hitters. Gets the ball out quickly and with a lot of velocity. Time winds down. First quarter comes to an end here in St. Louis with the 49ers on the move. Frank Gore with a first quarter touchdown. 49ers lead the Rams 7-0. We start the second quarter in St. Louis. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. 49ers lead the Rams 7-0. First and 10, San Francisco. From the St. Louis 42. It's Gore up the middle, breaks a tackle, still on his feet. There is a flag back at the 43-yard line. Gore gains 16, but it's coming back.
Holding, number 74, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Left tackle, Joe Staley.
Frank Gore, I'll tell you what. This is supposed to be a trap. Watch his vision. This ball is supposed to be run to the outside. Here he goes. He starts to the outside. He sees the inside hole just open wide. And look how he runs downhill. Lowers his shoulders, protects the ball with 2 hands. See it right there? Drives right through, keeps his legs going, gets back down, resets his hip. Not once, but twice. That's the way you run the ball.
To help it off Cortland Finnegan at the end of the play. First and 20 following the penalty. Play clock at 2. Kaepernick dumps it off to Michael Crabtree, and he's back into St. Louis territory, tackled at the 48-yard line by Rocky McIntosh. Gain of 5.
I think the one thing you have to remember about Colin Kaepernick, you take a look at his numbers right there. This is a guy who in college played in one of those offenses, the pistol offense, all shotgun. So he's in a shotgun with a running back behind him. To make the jump to where he is right now, how far he has come. Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh both said it's amazing his progression from last year to this season, how much he's had to learn and how hard he has worked to get there.
Second and 15. Kaepernick throws. It's complete. The Manningham. Roland Dunbar. The tackle. 49ers selected Kaepernick, and there's a late flag. Some extracurricular activity. They love Kaepernick after his workout with Jim Harbaugh. They traded 3 picks to Denver for the 36th overall pick and chose Colin Kaepernick. The pick right after the Bengals went with Andy Dalton.
They picked up the flag. There was definitely a flag down on the ground.
Cortland Finnegan involved. Mike Iupati, and there was a flag thrown, but the officials pick it up. Third down and 10. Niners must get to the 32-yard line. Play clock at 1. Niners get the snap off. Kaepernick steps up, still on his feet, and he's out of bounds at the 41.
Does a nice job of getting his legs up, huh, Darryl?
Yeah, but you know the other thing, Tony, is the way that the Rams defense pursued and closed all the running lanes down. I mean, he's going through all these changes at the line of scrimmage, just gets this play off in time. But what I was impressed with, now he's on the perimeter running around, and great pursuit by the Rams not to allow him to try and create something after that play broke down.
Hop, skip, and a jump, finally out of bounds, forcing a 49ers punt. Andy Lee punting from his own 48. Their catch is called for back at the 9-yard line by Austin Pettis. Kaepernick and the Niners lead the Rams by 7. Fox Theater here in St. Louis. 49ers lead 7-0. Rams will start from their own 10-yard line. 3 possessions, 3 punts.
Yeah, compliments to the 49ers defense. You talked about how effective St. Louis has been in the first quarter offensively.
Darrell Richardson, rookie out of Abilene Christian, in the backfield. And this is Richardson for Bowman. 49ers leading tackler, signed a 5-year extension this week, comes up to make the tackle.
And I think that Darrell Richardson is going to do the same thing for Steven Jackson and the St. Louis Rams that Kendall Hunter had done for the San Francisco 49ers. He's a great changeup to Steven Jackson. He's a different style runner. You're going to get some different plays. There's the guy that's going to go up and soften everything up inside. Physical, legs churning, dropping the shoulder on people. Darrell Richardson has been a great compliment to him this year.
Second to last pick in the draft, chosen just before Mr. Irrelevant. Second down and 8. Off the play fake. Bradford to the tight end, Lance Kendricks. There is a flag, 2 flags at the end of the play as Kendricks was close to a first down.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 53, defense. That penalty is declined. Results of the play, first down.
There's Navarro Bowman, number 53, right here on that play action. See, you got that crosser coming the backside. So you slide a little bit on that play action fake, and then Navarro knew exactly where the receiver was going to be coming from. He's going to be coming from the outside. He's going to try and climb over the top. So he just reaches back and gives him a little tug to slow him down.
And this play is blown dead as the 49ers take a timeout. They're first. First and 10 for the Rams when we return to St. Louis. Week 13, 49ers lead the Rams 7-0. It is the 7th quarter of football. These teams have played against one another this season following their tie back on November 11th. First and 10 for the Rams from the 20-yard line. Play action, Bradford gets Richardson out of the backfield. And Ahmad Brooks right there to make the tackle.
One of the things that you have to face when you go against San Francisco is the combination of Aldon Smith, number 99, and Justin Smith, 94. I want you to watch at how these two work together. Now, a lot of teams are aware of this. Justin Smith's going to come up the field. He's going to pull that guard and get Aldon Smith under. The Saints were able to counter that by bringing that center across and picking up the twister.
Richardson on 2nd and 9. Out to the 24-yard line.
One thing they do really well is work together, Darrell. You know, Justin Smith, and you talked about it earlier, how he's so unselfish. He just tries to make everybody around him better.
Holding, number 63, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
And the good thing is those two guys working together, they know each other. So, you know, Justin lines up inside. He tries to get that guard on a second level when Aldon comes around. The thing about Aldon Smith is he's so slippery. Even if they do bring that center and slide him over, he finds a way with those really long arms to just maneuver his body to keep coming upfield. And what Justin does good is when he's behind him, he fills in wherever there's a hole, you know, whether it's outside or inside. So, you know, we always talk about combo groups, especially with the 49ers. This is a defensive combo group that's worked together really well.
Deuce Aldon Smith leading the NFL, 16.5 sacks. Bradford on 2nd and 19. Loads of time, and then he swings it to Richardson. And it was Bowman again. Able to make the tackle at the 15-yard line. Gain of just 4.
Sam Bradford has a lot of time. A lot of time. The 49ers only bring 3 guys. Watch him back here in the pocket. Your receivers are down there. Relax, relax. It seems like he's getting happy feet with no pressure on him. He needs to go and let those receivers work a little bit more and try to get that ball to the next level. Right now he's throwing all the underneath passes, exactly what San Francisco wants to do.
Now Bradford on 3rd and 15. Another short pass. It's Kendricks. Carlos Rogers makes the tackle, and the Bluebirds are out here in St. Louis.
Well, one of the difficulties you have against San Francisco, if they force you to throw underneath, is they're great tacklers. And they're great tacklers throughout the entire team. And here's an example with Carlos Rogers coming up. I mean, you check it down, and a lot of times guys will they'll break that tackle, and they'll pick up extra yardage. But San Francisco is one of the best tackling teams in the NFL.
4th Rams possession. Hecker out to punt for the 4th time. Good pressure from Larry Grant. Good kick by Hecker. Down at the 24-yard line is Ted Ginn. 63-yard punt by the rookie Johnny Hecker. And then Ginn loses his footing. How about that starting field position for the Niners? Their average start, they're on 35. Start this drive on their 24-yard line. Vernon Davis held without a catch last week by the Saints. 49ers tight end able to gain 6 on 1st down.
Yeah, I really like the approach that St. Louis is going to have for Vernon Davis. He's a big threat on 1st down, 2nd down, so they're going to know where he is at all times. Now, Janoris Jenkins is going to come up and wrap him up. He's a big physical player, and you're not going to knock him off his feet by throwing a shoulder at him.
Well, you talked about the underneath throws. You know, you go against a good defense. Well, the tackle's good. It's not a problem, but got to make sure you tackle good.
Delaney Walker shifting, 2nd down and 4. As Kaepernick hands it off to Frank Gore. Gore now to the 31. 3rd down and 3 coming up for San Francisco.
Yeah, we talk about going and tackling well and how good the San Francisco 49ers. Here's Jenkins. Davis, I know, is a big guy, but you got to do a little better than that right there. You got to wrap your arms. You don't want to go up high on a guy that size, especially if you're a little defensive back. You want to go down on his legs. But thank goodness the rest of that Rams defense went and corralled them.
Third down and 3. Low snap. Kaepernick to Delaney Walker, who picks up a 49ers 1st down. He was ruled down at the 39-yard line. Good job by Kaepernick handling that snap and getting the pass away quickly.
No, that's the thing, not only handling the snap, but look at it as he gets up and has his eyes right downfield to find Delaney Walker.
Walker out of Central Missouri State does so many things for this 49ers offense.
He really does. He is a jack of all trades. A big receiving day last week against New Orleans. Tough guy in the running game. He's going to be your guy that does a lot of the dirty work inside.
Kaepernick starts the game 8 for 9. Two set of downs for San Francisco. Kaepernick down 9 for 10 as he fires a bullet to Michael Crabtree, who is close to another Niners 1st down.
Now, I'm really surprised at the cushion that these defensive corners are going and giving these receivers.
Well, right now you can see Cortland Finnegan had his eyes inside, Tony. The reason they had Will Tukuafu in there as the fullback. Now, he's a defensive lineman. He's a big guy, so immediately you're kind of thinking run game, run game. That's a good play call by Greg Roman, showing a run group personnel, getting Cortland Finnegan to get his eyes in the backfield to look for run, and then you've got a pass called off that.
3 tight ends in for the Niners. The handoff to Gore. Gore brought down by Gene Sims as he gains a couple into Rams territory, 2nd and 8. Frank Gore with the game's only touchdown.
2nd and 8 for the Rams 49.
And he's going to have to carry a little bit more of the load the remainder of the season. They lost Kendall Hunter to an Achilles tendon injury, and I really liked the combination of Frank Gore and Kendall Hunter together in the backfield. It's going to be a tough a tough replacement to find for Kendall.
They lost Hunter and wide receiver Kyle Williams on the same play last week. Both out for the season. Second down and 8. It's Gore again. Nice tackle. William Hayes, who had a sack earlier, comes up to make the tackle. Loss of 2 on the play.
William Hayes does a nice job of identifying the pulling on the backside guard. See the 2 guys going across the formation. He just goes and he penetrates and meets Frank there in the backfield.
But now the 49ers facing third down and 10 with Gore on the sidelines.
There's Michael Crabtree at the top. That's the guy they look for on third down.
Let's get to the Rams 41. Play clock is at 1. Niners get the snap away, and it's off the hands of Crabtree, incomplete. So Kaepernick was looking for Crabtree, as Darryl mentioned, but the 49ers forced to punt it away.
It's Vernon Davis on first and second down, and then it's Michael Crabtree on third down. Michael Crabtree needs to make that catch. Cortland Finnegan's going to be there to make the tackle. It's going to come up short. But he's lucky when that ball went up in the air that it didn't provide an opportunity for an interception for the Rams.
Crabtree, the Niners' leading receiver this season. Lee with a 61-yard punt earlier, flags prior to the kick. It's a false start.
False start, number 27, offense. 5-yard penalty, fourth down.
C.J. Spillman.
Rodney McLeod, number 23, is inside the formation, and he's going to break to the outside to come out and help cover on the kick. And that is why C.J. Spillman jumped, because he's got his eyes inside, and he saw 23 move, so he moved.
Another booming kick by Lee. Pettis, should he have let it bounce good to the end zone?
Absolutely. Every special teams coach will have a mark on a punt where you don't field it beyond that. It's usually about the 8-yard line. So let that one hit the ground and roll into the end zone and take it at the 20.
Danny Amendola out of the Rams lineup once again this afternoon.
One of the things we talked about, missing him in the passing game, but also the return game. He's excellent there as well.
Missed 3 games earlier this season. Guess who? Justin Smith able to make yet another tackle, wrapping up Steven Jackson.
He was in the backfield before Steven Jackson even got the ball on that one, Darryl.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't know what you do with Justin Smith. I mean, he's excellent outside. He's excellent inside. Tony talked about the chemistry with him and Aldon Smith. And you get to a certain point in your career, and it's not about numbers anymore. It's about team success. I think that's been a part of Justin Smith his entire career. One of my favorite people to sit down and have a conversation with.
That's his first Pro Bowl in his 10th season. Gone 3 times as a Niner. Bradford down, back at the 10-yard line. Aldon Smith now with 17.5 sacks, tying a franchise record.
Yeah,
Only
we just
3
talked
rushes.
about him. Yeah, but we talked about Justin inside, Tony. Watch him here. He's going to move outside. He's going to collapse this whole thing down. And here's Aldon on the other side. He's going to clean everything up. But again, it's 94. Just drives everything back in. And Sam Bradford has nowhere to go.
Yeah, they do a nice job of going and getting to a certain level and then squeeze in that pocket, not running by it to leave an area where Sam can go and escape.
High snap, inside handoff to Jackson on third down and 18. And he has nowhere to go as Dante Whitner comes up to make the tackle. Rams once again will punt.
It is everybody on this defense that tackles well. We saw Carlos Rogers as a cornerback last time. We all know about Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman. Dante Whitner and Deshaun Goldson, the same thing. That's a great job by your safety, dropping down from depth, being able to get through all those bodies and make a great tackle on a very, very physical running back.
Steven Jackson, they did give him a little bit of help with that angle that he took to the outside. He's a downhill runner. He has to run and get his shoulder square and fire off downfield.
Busy first half for the punter, Johnny Hecker. Angle towards the sideline, taken at the 40 by Ginn. Looks to turn upfield, and he cannot. He is driven back by Corey Harkey, a 50-yard punt by Johnny Hecker. As we take you back a couple of plays, Aldon Smith with his first sack today, 17.5 on the season. We mentioned he ties Fred Dean's franchise record, but he also sets a new NFL record since sacks became an official statistic. Most sacks over a player's first 2 seasons, surpassing the great Reggie White.
I mean, you are in rarefied air right now when you're with Reggie White, and Derek Thomas was the other one at the top of that list before Aldon Smith made his run these last few games.
Kaepernick throws and it hits the ground. Crabtree did not make the catch. 2nd and 10 coming up.
I don't know. He might have caught that ball right there. He said he was trying to plead his case to the officials that his hands were underneath, but I think they're moving on right now.
Ryan's back.
Second and 10 for Colin Kaepernick. And the 49ers only for an incompletion for Kaepernick. He's 9 for 12. Hands it off on 2nd down. The Gore. Michael Brockers, the first Ram, to make contact as we hit the 2-minute warning here in St. Louis. Longtime division rivals. 3rd career start for Kaepernick. 49ers lead by 7. We're down at 7 for the 49ers, who lead 7-0. 2 minutes remaining, first half. They must get to the 49-yard line for a first down. Kaepernick moving to his right, being chased. He throws, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Manningham. 49ers forced to punt.
Again, adding that 5th guy into the rush, and there goes a little after the play discussion with William Hayes and Colin Kaepernick, but we've added that extra guy. James Laurinaitis comes in to clog that lane, gets out to the outside.
He is slippery, though, ain't he?
But you know, you got to compliment St. Louis here, Tony, and there it is afterwards. He's not going to back down from anybody. Don't make any contact with him, though.
Andy Lee waiting back at his 27-yard line. Pettis steals another one inside the 10. Not much running room for Austin Pettis. With 1:43 remaining in the half. What's coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, Kurt Menefee?
Hey, coming up on the Visa Halftime.
You'll get caught up on a great day of action in the NFL.
Including
The
Detroit
Lions.
and Indy and Tom Brady and the Dolphins and a whole lot more
A whole bunch more.
on the Visa Halftime.
And we will be in Sarasota on the 29th for a big revival.
Thanks, Terry. You know, I noticed Michael is missing from that shot. Do you think he's getting a little nervous? Aldon Smith only 5 sacks away from his NFL single-season record.
Somebody needs to wake up Jimmy, too, on the end there.
Bradford's pass out to the 19-yard line is caught by Givens. Rams have all 3 of their timeouts with 90 seconds remaining in the half.
A little confusion there with the Rams. They got to get in a little bit of groove here with 1:25 left on the clock.
2nd down and 3. Bradford underneath Jackson, and he picks up only the 3rd Rams first down of this first half. And now a timeout is taken by Jeff Fisher. Rams have not yet crossed midfield today. First season for Jeff here in St. Louis, 17 years with the Oilers/Titans, and he brought credibility and confidence to this Rams roster that they won only 2 games last year.
A ton of credibility. He's one of the favorite guys that we have an opportunity to visit with during the course of the season. And you know, he's got to change a lot here. You know, he felt like he needed to change the way they practice, change the atmosphere. You know, let these guys forget about what's happened over the past couple of years and create the belief that they could win football games again.
Bradford to the outside on first down. It's Givens. Down to the 32-yard line for a gain of 7. And Jeff Fisher, looking at this Rams franchise, saw stability with the ownership group led by Stan Kroenke, a young third-year quarterback in Sam Bradford, who had a terrific rookie season, missed 6 games last year. And the Rams, they win today, they'll be right in the thick of the wild card hunt, the NFC. A lot of teams in that 5-6 win area. Bradford fakes the handoff to Jackson, and he hits Kendricks for a Rams first down as they cross midfield for the first time today, gain of 20.
Nice play action.
And now the Rams hurry up to the line, and Bradford will spike it, stops the clock with 56 seconds remaining.
Well, you're going to get the linebackers to buy it. Here's Lance Kendricks right here, but it's the hard play action. Everybody comes in. A nice route right there. Gets inside Dante Whitner. Really the first time we've seen them stretch the field a little bit, Tony. Everything's been
Underneath.
Yeah.
I like the tempo they're going right now, too. I mean,
That play, guys, the longest of the day for the Rams offense. 20 yards from Bradford to Kendricks. Now on 2nd and 10, Bradford dumps it off to Jackson to the San Francisco 40. Rams with 2 timeouts as they hurry back to the line. 40 seconds remaining. 3rd down and 2. Bradford steps up on 3rd down. The pass is incomplete. It's off the left shoulder of the veteran, the former Giant and Eagle, Steve Smith. So it is now 4th down and 2 for St. Louis.
We'll get some pressure here. Sam Bradford's going to step up, make the throw onto that back shoulder. Probably best that Steve Smith on the outside doesn't make this catch because he's going to get tackled right away as Deshaun Goldson's coming in. They've got 2 timeouts left.
So it's 4th down. And Jeff Fisher will now call timeout. This will be a 57, 58-yard field goal attempt if he elects to go that route. And remember, Greg Zuerlein hit from 60 earlier this season. So the Rams use their 2nd timeout.
And sometimes you get worried about time down here, you know, thinking about Steve Smith and having time on the clock. You lose sight of that down and distance. He's definitely got to make that catch here to convert to allow this drive to stay on.
So here comes the field goal unit. Zuerlein has hit 5 from 50-plus already this season. I talked to him before the game. I said, what's the longest field goal you've ever made, either in a game or practice? He said, before a game in college with a 60-mile-per-hour wind, he hit from 74 yards.
He doesn't have that in here today.
was the wind behind him or in front of him, Kenny?
I think it was with him. So this will be a 58-yard attempt. He's hit from 56, 58, and 60 earlier this season. Nickname is Greg the Leg. Some call him Legatron. From the right hash. Greg the Leg from 58. It is wide to the right. No good.
Plenty of leg, though, man. He hit the net, no problem.
But was not on target.
Take a look right here. Good hold, good kick. Just, it was out to the right, and it stayed out to the right.
He made his first 4 attempts, Goose, from 50-plus this year. But he has now missed 4 of his last 5. Their special teams coach, John Fossil, son of former Giants head coach Jim Fossil. So the 49ers, with 25 seconds remaining, take over at their own 48-yard line. They have 2 timeouts. Kaepernick to the outside. Nice catch. What a catch by Ted Ginn Jr., and he gets out of bounds. Used only 4 seconds.
This is very impressive. Coming from the slot as he's running the bubble. I mean, that's a completely different direction. You're expecting that ball on your upfield shoulder so you can catch and run. It's behind him. And he just, I mean, that was effortless. He made that look very easy.
A lot of work for a half a yard right there.
With only 4 seconds, 2nd down and 9 with 21 seconds on the clock. And 2 timeouts remaining for San Francisco. Kaepernick moving to his left, wrapped up. Down he goes. Back at the 40-yard line. It's Eugene Sims, his second sack this season, and the 49ers call timeout with 12 seconds remaining.
They've done a nice job in containing Colin Kaepernick when he has tried to get out and create some good athleticism in that defensive line of the St. Louis Rams, Tony.
Yeah, Eugene Sims. Nice job. What they do really good, Darryl, is they throw their body. You know, Kaepernick's got some speed. He's got those long legs. You're not going to go and run him down. So when you have the opportunity, you have to go and dive out there, throw your body, try to get a little piece of him, and it worked.
So now with 12 seconds remaining, third down and 18 for San Francisco. Kaepernick moving left on third down, being chased. Wrapped up, down he goes once again. It was William Hayes and Chris Long with the pressure. Hayes brought him down. Second sack for Hayes. Clock has run all the way down to 0. First half comes to an end. Kurt and the gang, take it away.
Welcome to the Visa Halftime Report. More fans go with Visa.
All right, once again, the Rams playing the 49ers hard. Elsewhere around the league, Aaron Rodgers, the birthday boy.
Happy birthday, 29th birthday for Aaron Rodgers. Greg Jennings, welcome back. Aaron Rodgers setting up.
You know what? We have to take a pause because they had a timeout there in the game, apparently, in St. Louis. So before we get to the halftime officially, let's send it back out there for the finish of the first half. Sorry about that, guys.
All right, Kurt, the officials have added 2 seconds back onto the game clock. Players from both teams started heading off towards the tunnel. It is fourth down and 19 following the sack of Kaepernick. Third sack for the Rams in this first half. Kaepernick will throw it out of bounds, so now the guys can head to the locker room. Goose, you can head in for a snack.
I will, Kenny. Thank you.
Jim Harbaugh and the Niners with a 7-0 lead for the second time. Take 2, Kurt Menefee. Only touchdown. 49ers lead the Rams 7-0 as we get set for the start of the third quarter. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. 49ers won the opening toss, elected to defer, so Ted Ginn is back deep for San Francisco. Colin Kaepernick, and the Niners will start from their own 20-yard line as we begin this third quarter. Kenny Albert with Darryl Johnston, a 24-24 tie 3 weeks ago, 7-0 at the half.
Well, I think when you watch what Colin Kaepernick has done against the Chicago Bears and against the New Orleans Saints, that we had an expectation coming in against the St. Louis Rams that he would kind of light it up a little bit. He's run into a very, very good defense this afternoon. This is part of the process for him. He's going to have to fight his way through this type of game. And like the guys at the halftime show said, this is that experience. You know, Alex Smith has been through this before through his career. This is something new for him. I'm anxious to see how he responds here in the second half.
49ers empty the backfield on first down. Kaepernick moving to his right. Couple of pump fakes. Takes it out to the 26 before taking a hit from Rocky McIntosh. Gain of 6 on the play.
There's a lot of big guys that are really, really fast out there on the field, and get a chance to get down without having to take that hit, get down without having to take that hit.
Yeah.
Kaepernick in the first half today, 10 of 15. He was sacked 3 times. Hit 7 different targets. Second down and 4. It's Gore. Wants to run away from McIntosh. And he picks up a yard out to the 27.
You know, one thing looking at that first half, and Darryl, you talked about it, was the last time this team's played, they had to feel each other out in the first half. I felt like neither one of these offenses have really challenged any of the defenses. You don't see any of the plays downfield, no shots being taken. Very conservative by both teams. I think the team that comes out in the second half and tries to go and, get some deep plays and some big passes and opens it up a little bit is going to be successful. But right now, I'm not seeing that. I'd like to see both of these teams stick with the run game, but I think the run is going to set up the pass.
Third down and 3 for San Francisco. As Kaepernick throws, it's incomplete. He was looking for Michael Crabtree. Joel Dunbar on the coverage.
I think, Tony, the big thing is everybody's just a little bit out of sync right now.
Yes.
I mean, you see this right here. It's a throw catch. It's a tight window, and we all know about the velocity on that ball. Guys stepping up and making a play. I think also both of these offenses have great running backs, Steven Jackson and Frank Gore. And you really look at the first half, San Francisco was able to generate only 55 yards. The St. Louis Rams only 13. Now that running game has to kick into gear.
Let him go! Let him go!
Good kick by Lee. Fair catch called for at the 21-yard line by Pettis. The visible matchup, tempers flaring. Quarter number 8, 49ers Rams. Now we know where Goose went at halftime.
Yeah, you ruined those ribs throwing the paper on top of them. I mean, they looked unbelievable.
You wouldn't do that in your restaurants, Tony?
Absolutely not.
Rams back to work from the 22-yard line as Bradford throws over the outstretched Aldon Smith. And it's Chris Givens who takes it out across the 32-yard line for a St. Louis first down.
Now, Aldon Smith plays this well. He's shuffling in. He doesn't bite on the play action that way. He gets up the field on the boot. This is a nice throw by Sam Bradford with big 99 coming at you, elevating.
Over the top.
Yeah.
So Givens picks up the first down. It's the 5th Rams first down in this game. They have an equal number of first downs and punts. Why did it go? Rams hope to get the offense going here in the second half, but not much on that Steven Jackson run.
He got off to a great start the first time around when these two teams played, but you got to give credit to Vic Fangio's defensive group for the 49ers. 9 rushes, only 13 yards.
Yeah, they're not making it easy for him, are they?
Coach Fangio said, he goes, you know what? They took it to us at the start of that game, the first go-around. They were more physical than we were in that first quarter.
Three wide receivers set, second down and 8 for Bradford and the Rams. Pass is caught by Givens for another first down. 6th catch today for the 4th-round pick out of Wake Forest, Chris Givens.
This is Lance Kendricks right here. He's a tight end. All right, we've talked about Aldon Smith and all of his accomplishments. Look at that, That's pretty impressive. When you have the confidence, it's a quick pass, it's going to come out quick. But you have confidence that your tight end can match up and hold his own against Aldon Smith. Lance Kendricks is one of these young guys coming in the league right now. You're going to start to hear a little bit more about him. Very impressed with his blocking ability.
He's pretty happy also that ball came out that fast.
Second season out of Wisconsin, Lance Kendricks. He set it down for the Rams. Off the play fake to Jackson. Bradford just able to get rid of it. He was about to be sacked by Aldon Smith, and Steven Jackson picks up the 3rd Rams first down of this drive.
It's amazing. Here's 99 coming inside underneath. There he is, Goose. He's getting slippery again. Yep. And just those little nicks and bumps as he came through gave Sam Bradford enough time to find Steven Jackson.
Now Jackson picked up 20, matching the Rams' longest play of the game. Now the play is blown dead as one of the officials came running in and nearly collided with Bradford.
The referee was in motion.
Yeah, that was Sheffers. The Rams did come to the line of scrimmage and trying to get a little bit more tempo going, faster than we saw in the first half. But Carl Sheffers, our referee, must have saw something and came in and didn't let them get the snap off.
There's no play. There was a late substitution on the play. Be first down.
New play in the Rams playbooks on the referee in motion.
Well, one of the things when you go up tempo and you change personnel, You're going to allow time for them to match, and I think that's what they were trying to do. They were making sure that.
So it's a 1st and 10 for the Rams at the 49ers 37. This is the deepest penetration for the St. Louis offense today. Handoff to Jackson. And Jackson down at the 36. Gain of just 1. Chris Culliver, along with Navarro Bowman on the tackle.
He can't get going, and it's a credit to the San Francisco defense. I mean, everybody we've talked about. That's Chris Culliver there. We've seen Carlos Rogers, Dante Whitner, all 11 guys on the field. Very, very good tacklers, and he is not an easy guy to get to the ground.
And now with Jackson on the sidelines, our first look at Isaiah Pead, the rookie out of Cincinnati. Pead now flexed out wide to the left as the Rams empty the backfield on 2nd and 8. Bradford going deep, looking for Pead, and it's just out of his reach with Navarro Bowman racing downfield alongside Isaiah Pead, the Big East Offensive Player of the Year last season.
I like that call, Darryl. I think it stretches the field a little bit, gives him something to think about, something we didn't see in the first half at least.
Well, they generated a good matchup, too. You know, Kenny mentioned they emptied the backfield, so you're going to get one-on-one. And you've got Isaiah Pead out there working against Navarro Bowman. Sam Bradford just a little bit long on that one.
Rams have not converted on 3rd down this afternoon. Must get to the 27. High snap. Bradford setting up the screen to Jackson. And Steven Jackson picks up a 1st down and more. Inside the 15 and finally tackled after a gain of 22 yards.
Steven Jackson lines up in the backfield. He's going to slip out and slide into that screen element.
Offensive line does a nice job, too, of holding up that defensive line and really selling that they're going to go into pass.
Well, Scott Wells did a nice job, the center, Tony, of getting out there, getting the block on Navarro Bowman.
That's one guy, Steven Jackson, you don't want running in your secondary, Darryl. I'll tell you that.
Now Richardson in the backfield, 3 receivers to the left as Bradford hands it off to Richardson. Fights for a yard. Some more post whistle pushing and shoving.
This is one of those games where everything is earned, Tony. I mean, every yard you gain, every play you make is going to be highly contested. It's going to come down to execution. These offenses, I mean, they've got to be spot on today with their blocking and their execution.
2nd down and 9. Rams' first trip inside the red zone today. Richardson in the backfield. 4 receivers set. A little bit prior to the snap. It's a false start against the Rams.
Number 76, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Left tackle Roger Saffold.
You got to dial in once you get into the red zone. Red zone penalties are just, they're drive killers. This is what forces field goals instead of opportunities for touchdowns. And even though you got Alden Smith there, you gotta lock in, you gotta focus.
It's tough. When you see that guy standing in front of you, you get a little bit intimidated. How long he is and the speed he has on that outside, man.
He has a sack today, leads the league at 17 and a half. Bradford on 2nd and 14. Moving to his right, chased by Ahmad Brooks. Bradford will go down at the 11 on the hit from Carlos Rogers. Gain of 6, 3rd down and 8 upcoming for the Rams.
You know, we talk about Alden Smith, Darryl. I'm watching him when he gets down to the 3-point stance. His hand is down on the ground and it still looks like he's standing up. His arms are so long that his vision is unbelievable, even in the 3-point stance. And that's one of the advantages he has. You can't get to the guy's body. He extends his arms, and he makes it very difficult for the offensive lineman to latch on and even get to his body.
Goose now 3rd down and 8. Empty backfield. Rams must get to the 4 for a 1st down. And they will not. Pettis stopped about a yard shy. So a 4th and short and a decision for Jeff Fisher.
Steven Jackson's coming on the field, so it looks like it's already made. Here comes Wayne Hunter.
Hunter in as an extra blocker. He's eligible.
You're making that transition. You got to do some unconventional things. I think these guys love this too. He's an aggressive coach.
Absolutely.
Jeff Fisher is an aggressive coach, and the players really have embraced his style.
Respond to him, man. I like that he's taking this shot right here.
Timeout. With the play clock winding down, they were slow getting to the line.
First charge timeout.
Jeff
St.
Fisher
Louis.
uses his first timeout of the half.
You wonder if there's been some communication issues right here, Kenny. You look at Sam Bradford after that last play. Wonder if it carried over into the previous one. I think one of the things that factors into this decision, Kenny, you look at that 4 first downs in the first half, 4 on this drive. It's been tough to get to this part of the field against this Niners defense. I think Jeff Fisher wants to make sure he comes away with 7 points.
Yeah, momentum.
Isaiah Pede in the backfield. Pede now in motion. Bradford looking end zone. He throws, and it's incomplete. Austin Pettis, the intended receiver, looked like Terrell Brown, got a hand on it. So the Rams going for it on 4th down, could not convert. Terrific defensive play by Brown. 6:45 remaining, third quarter. 49ers lead remains 7-0 after the Rams could not convert on 4th down. Kaepernick and the Niners back to work from their own 4-yard line. Gore in the backfield. A handoff to Gore. And he's bottled up by James Laurinaitis.
Go back and take a look at that 4th down. I want you to keep an eye on Brandon Gibson. The other thing is Isaiah Pede, as he leaves, now you know it's pass. I mean, you've got your tight end back there, Matthew Mulligan, but number 11 pops right there. That was your best shot. Again, credit San Francisco's defense, but that guy, I think I would have had him out on the field. Steven Jackson needed to be out there. And I don't like the empty on 4th down because the defense automatically knows pass.
Two tight ends in the game, 2nd and 10. As Kaepernick hands it off to Gore once again, and he is bottled up by Michael Brockers.
Yeah, Michael Brockers was in the backfield almost before he got the ball. Nice job with penetration, especially down there. Put as much pressure as you can on that offense. See Frank Gore there? Frank barely gets the ball in his hands, and he's being swallowed up.
Brockers, the rookie first-round pick out of LSU, now 3rd down and 11. Kaepernick from his end zone on 3rd down, and the pass is caught for a first down by Manningham.
Saw a very similar play on the touchdown drive earlier in the game. It's on the release. Mario Manningham is beating Janoris Jenkins just on the release.
Yeah, he should have pressed him a little bit, not let him get off the line of scrimmage right there. Just give him a free release. Can't do that with Mario Manningham.
Well, on 3rd down and 11, that play quiets the crowd as Manningham gains 14. Think back to the brilliant catch he made in the Super Bowl last February. Now a 49er. Instead of downs. Off the play fake. Kaepernick in trouble from the end zone. He throws it out of bounds. The question is, did it cross the line of scrimmage? The officials get together.
I think it crossed. It went out of bounds, but I don't think it got to the line of scrimmage before it went as it crossed out of bounds. Yeah.
The flag is thrown. This will be a safety.
Quarterback was out of the pocket. The ball did not make it back to the line of scrimmage. That'll foul a turn in the end zone. Safety.
Nice job. Nice job by the officiating crew here. Because Colin Kaepernick's going to make this throw. He gets it out of bounds, but it's not to the line of scrimmage yet. You can see as it goes out of bounds before he got to the line of scrimmage, before that ball got to the line of scrimmage.
And the Rams brought 7 guys on that last rush. Colin Kaepernick should have realized that a little bit earlier and got rid of that ball a little earlier. And not put his team in this situation.
You take a look in Jim Harbaugh's left hand. He's got his challenge flag behind that play sheet. Putting it back in his pocket.
So after the Rams did not pick up the first down, they force a safety as Kaepernick does not get the ball back to the line of scrimmage. So the 49ers lead is 7-2. And Jeff Fisher's Rams will get the ball on the free kick from Andy Lee. Taken at the 18-yard line by Pettis. Looks to cut to the outside. Pettis down at the 29. As we welcome in our rules analyst, Mike Pereira from Los Angeles. Mike, what did you see on that play, the Kaepernick throw from the end zone?
You know, it's an interesting play, and I do think San Francisco has a gripe because on intentional grounding plays, when you're out of the pocket, the line of scrimmage, which was the 17, extends out of bounds, and so it's where the ball lands. And it does appear to us, as we look at it and hear, that it landed beyond the 17, so really, by rule, it's considered to have gotten back to the line.
All right, thanks, Mike. Hard to tell exactly where it landed out of bounds. But Mike feels it did cross the line of scrimmage out of bounds. So Bradford and the Rams trailing by 5. There's a flag on the play as the catch is made by Steven Jackson down at the 35-yard line.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
You do these hard play actions, you've got everybody going down the field, and it's one of those situations that you wonder if it was on Steven Jackson who received the play fake. Now, there's some parameters around that, what the defense is able to do on a hard play action, and if you cross those lines, you'll get defensive holding call.
And we saw Jim Harbaugh yelling, who was it? He wants to know who committed the foul.
True Bruce! Ready?
From the 35-yard line, it's Jackson. And he is wrapped up by a trio of 49ers.
We'll go back and take a look at that safety one more time. We'll show you what Mike Pereira is talking about. So look at the line of scrimmage. The line of scrimmage is the 17. The blue line there. Now that blue line, as Mike Pereira said, extends into the out-of-bounds area. So Colin Kaepernick, if he clears that area, it does look like it goes beyond it right there. So if you were to extend it all the way through, it would come to there. So Mike Pereira, excellent with the rules again.
As always, 2nd and 10. There's Jackson, and it's Justin Smith who brings him down. Call Star NFL to download NFL Mobile now and get coverage of every NFL game. Week 13 of the National Football League, 3 minutes to go. Third quarter here in St. Louis. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, and Tony Siragusa. 49ers with a 7-2 lead over the Rams. Bradford on 3rd and 10. The pass is caught, but what a tackle by Culliver as he brings Gibbons down a yard shy of a first.
Great tackle.
All afternoon, Tony.
Man, just being aware. Usually the offensive guys are aware where the line is, but this defense, if you watch Culliver, he knows where he has to make the tackle so they don't get that first down. He gets it right down before he gets to that. Something you can't teach, Darryl. You just got to know it.
Well, here's Hecker to punt once again. Remember, 2 fakes in the first game against the 49ers. Hecker completed 2 passes for first downs. Lets this one go, and it is out of bounds at the 1. Perfect placement by Hecker. He's excited. '49ers hit back deep in their own territory since the Gore touchdown. 4 punts, the end of the first half, and a safety, not much, for the San Francisco offense. As Miller comes out of the end zone, there is a flag. Fullback Bruce Miller out to the 5-yard line.
There's that shin strap again, Darryl. Got to speak to him.
Holding, number 77, offense. That's the distance to the goal. First down.
Mike Iupati.
Keep an eye on your left guard, number 77. There he is right there. Working against Michael Brockers.
That's a bear hug. Piggyback ride right there.
Boy, they are backed up right here, Tony. You cannot get much closer to your end line.
You know what? You're better off getting that penalty, though, than letting them penetrate and get another safety. That wouldn't be good.
Tukulako, Miller, Gore in the backfield as the pass is caught out across the 10-yard line by Crabtree.
Great coverage and catch on that one, Darryl.
Yeah, better coverage than we've seen on this play in the past. And again, I like the play call. You've got the big bodies in the backfield. You get one-on-one outside.
Miller's eyes were in the backfield. He played the ball really good. Just a nice catch, man.
For the 49ers, only their 4th first down since the Gore touchdown over the last 7 drives. But some breathing room for San Francisco. Penalty flag as Gore takes the handoff from Kaepernick and leans forward to the 17-yard line.
Illegal motion, number 48, offense. He was going towards the line of scrimmage at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's on Will Tukuafu. We've seen him on offense today. We've seen him on the defensive line. Change his number to 48.
That's what happens when you combine a fullback and a defensive lineman. You have a big guy that's a little too aggressive back there.
I didn't see him going forward. I thought he was going parallel.
Me too.
Time winding down in his 3rd quarter. 1st and 15 following the penalty. Kaepernick from the end zone, complete to Crabtree. And Michael Crabtree picks up another 49er first down, gets into it at the end of the play with Cortland Finnegan.
Now, this is a nice throw by Colin Kaepernick. Quentin Michael is underneath this. Watch 27 jump underneath right here. Right over the top. Boy, that's nice touch.
22 yards, longest completion for Kaepernick today. 3rd quarter comes to an end with the 49ers leading 7-2. Yes, it is 7-2 San Francisco. 4th quarter is coming up. There's Alex Smith, who started the first 9 games for the 49ers this season. Colin Kaepernick. And the Niners begin the 4th quarter with a 5-point lead as Gore takes it out to the 30-yard line. Kaepernick 13 of 20 in his 3rd start. Jim Harbaugh told us yesterday we have 2 great quarterbacks. Alex has done a phenomenal job when he's been in there. Colin has the hot hand and has taken advantage of an opportunity. It is a unique situation.
He has made a couple of nice throws here coming off the back end for San Francisco. One on the slant to Michael Crabtree, and then the speed out to Michael Crabtree over Quentin Michael. Shows some great touch.
Second down and 8. Kaepernick with time. He throws downfield, and it is Delanie Walker. Walker unable to make the catch. Terrific effort.
Yeah, Quentin Michael does a nice job staying with him.
15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
All the way down to the ground and then stays on that ball. The ball comes out, hits the ground right there.
As you heard from Carl Cheffers, another Rams penalty. So they will mark off 15 yards. Fans had a look on the video screen. Did not look like much contact on Kaepernick, Darryl.
Well, they have one where if you hit him with your arm to the helmet. Oh, there it is. It's the second one. Yeah.
Quinn got the helmet. Robert Quinn, the guilty Ram. As Kaepernick hands it off to Gore. And he's bottled up right at the line of scrimmage at the 45-yard line.
I don't know if that's enough for a penalty in that situation right there now.
Keep your eyes on 94. As he comes up, he's going to come underneath.
I mean, he bumped him.
Yeah.
That's a horrible, horrible call right there.
You can usually tell the quarterback will usually turn and look at the referee, you know, in motion. Hey, what was that? And Colin Kaepernick just walking down the field, not expecting to get that call.
Now Kaepernick uses a timeout with the play clock at 3.
First charge timeout.
Fans not happy about that penalty call on Robert Quinn. 49ers with a 5-point advantage. Jeff Fisher on the Rams sideline. Not happy with that last penalty call. Gave the 49ers 15 yards and a first down. Now second and 10 following the San Francisco timeout. It is Gore. Gore gains a couple out to the 47.
So the replay's been run here. That you've heard the boos in the background.
Still hearing him.
Yeah. And they're still not happy. And you see right here, as Robert Quinn comes in, I agree. There's nothing to the head. There's nothing. It's in the shoulder. And it even kind of comes in a little bit. Now, Jeff Fisher has been on the competition committee for a number of years. And we have great conversations with him about the rules and player safety. There's no better advocate about it than Jeff Fisher. But he's got a huge point right there. That was a bad call.
Now third down and 8. They must get to the 45. There is a flag. As Kaepernick throws wide open, it's Crabtree. And Crabtree takes it down to the Rams' 26-yard line. 30-yard pass play. We will await the call from Carl Cheffers.
Offside, number 94, defense, lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty's declined, result of the play, first down.
That's Robert Quinn once again.
Michael Crabtree's working here on the outside, and he is really starting to become a good wide receiver in the NFL. Had the opportunity to sit down and talk with Chuck Cecil, the secondary coach for the St. Louis Rams, and he had a lot of praise for Michael Crabtree and how he's playing this season.
5 catches today, 78 yards for Crabtree. The slant. It's Crabtree again. Finnegan is there to make the tackle.
Still seeing a lot of that cushion there, Darryl. A lot of space for those receivers to work.
They're doing it by formation, Tony. They're overloading one side of the field and they're leaving the backside one-on-one, and they're just making hay on it every time they go to it. St. Louis has got to make an adjustment with their coverage in that situation. They've got to change it up, come up and press it a little bit, challenge the releases from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if they're going to give it to you, San Francisco, just keep, nickel and diming them down the field.
Second down and 3. Kaepernick looking to throw back across the field, and he throws it well out of bounds.
Oh, that was the old sneaky tight end. If you keep an eye on Vernon Davis, number 85 in this situation. Now, everybody in the backfield is going to go to their right. Watch Vernon Davis. He's sneaking out on the backside all of a sudden, then he's going to try and pop up. But he did not get away from one of the defenders.
Yeah, Quentin Michael, the safety,
Quentin Michael saw it and stayed
the whole way.
We're down at 3. The slant to Manningham for a 49ers first down.
All right, they're doing it again. And it's strictly by formation. And, you know, you're going to catch Mario Manningham out to the left all by himself, one-on-one with Janoris Jenkins. Watch the outside release and then back inside. It's like stealing right now.
Never touches him. He never touches him or challenges him at the line of scrimmage.
Whether it's Michael Crabtree or Mario Manningham, they are beating Janoris Jenkins on their release.
On first and goal, it's Gore with Nukuafu leading the way. Tackles made by Jolan Dunbar, 58. He's the Ram who made the hit on Alex Smith out in San Francisco, and Smith suffered the concussion, stayed in the game, threw a touchdown pass, and then came out. 49ers started on their own 1-yard line. There's Smith, who still leads the NFL in completion percentage.
They started on their half-yard line, Kenny. They're as close as you could get to their own end line.
99.9.
Forced back half the distance due to a penalty. Second and goal. Kaepernick looking to run. Not much.
Looked like it was a design play, Darryl. Looked like he's tucked the ball and
absolutely.
Quarterback draw, trying to challenge that defensive lineman. Hopefully you can get a little bit of a lane.
We talked to some of the Rams. They told us he likes to run up the middle. Tempted to there.
All I need to do is keep running that slant.
Well, they got Vernon Davis out there this time. You know, your formation, everything to the right, and then you got one-on-one to the backside. They've been hitting that slant all day. It's soft coverage again.
There it is. He's matched up with Tremaine Johnson, who's in for the injured Janoris Jenkins. Instead, Kaepernick throws right. It's Manningham, and he is tackled at the 5.
That's good hustle by Jolan Dunbar, number 58. Jolan Dunbar coming up the field in pressure, and then as he sees the receiver there, turns, retraces, gets all the way back to make the tackle. It's getting chippy down there. I mean, after every play.
So here's David Akers, who has struggled as of late. 49ers brought in a couple of kickers on tryouts this week. 23-yard attempt from the right hash. And Akers knocks it through. 49ers extend their lead to 8. Gateway to the west. 8:43 remaining, fourth quarter. 8-point lead for the San Francisco 49ers. A 13-play, 94-yard drive. Big penalty call on Robert Quinn, roughing the passer. It looked like Quinn made contact with Kaepernick's head.
Mario Manningham, you saw him on the sideline there. They're checking on him. A little banged up.
Gibbons on the return. Gibbons stopped just shy of the 20. Jeff Fisher with some questions for the officiating crew. Jim Harbaugh as well. 49ers medical staff working on the shoulder of Mario Manningham as the Rams go back to work, trailing by 8 from their own 19-yard line as Bradford hands it off to Jackson. Steven Jackson out to the 25, gain of 6.
I think it happened at the end of that last play. Jolan Dunbar, good hustle down the field now. Everybody's going to come out. Craig Dahl right there as he comes down on top. And then we've got some stuff afterwards. And again, it's a divisional game. They're always heated. And that was one of the reasons when we went to break, you saw Jim Harbaugh working the officials.
120 enough.
Bradford on 2nd and 4. Down he goes, Justin Smith.
Ball has to come out on time. You know, your offensive line and your running backs pick everything up. You've got to be able to get this ball out on time. Patrick Willis is stepping up, push that down. You got Steven Jackson onto Justin Smith. Somebody's got to help Steven Jackson out. You know, that's tough in that situation to have your running back blocking one of the most relentless defenders in the league.
Second 49ers sack. One for Aldon Smith, one for Justin. Both returning to their home state. Third down at 11. Bradford hits Jackson out of the backfield, and Jackson tiptoeing down the sidelines has enough for a Rams first down. Picks up 14 on the play.
That's the Steven Jackson that people fear right there, Darryl. You know, when he goes, now he knows he's got to cut up. He's going to get that first down. Watch how he just runs mad. He wants to, like, hit. He's like a defensive lineman running the ball.
Did a nice job, too, staying in bounds. So a new set of downs for the Rams with 7 minutes to go. Fourth quarter. Following the tie game between these clubs 3 weeks ago. Bradford to Givens. And Givens gains 9 after the 41-yard line.
This is a nice ad-lib with Chris Givens and Sam Bradford, because actually San Francisco has it defended pretty well. It's one of those quick screens. There's Chris Givens in motion. They've got everything clogged up. You can see right there he drops back inside. Aldon Smith had actually dropped out into the area where the screen was. So good job by both of those guys not giving up on the play and making something really out of nothing.
Yeah, Chris Givens does a nice job of moving and sliding away from Aldon, so he can be seen.
Second down and 1. It's Jackson. And Jackson able to pick up a Rams first down as the clock winds down. Rams in need of a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And we may be looking at another overtime game between these clubs.
Going into quarter number 10.
Mario Manningham also inside with his shoulder. They brought him into the locker room. Check on it.
From the 44. Bradford's pass could not be handled by Kendricks. Golston on the coverage. A game break with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, after going 10 for 21 with 3 picks against Arizona, Mark Sanchez has been benched. Greg McElroy comes in. First possession leads him to a touchdown. That 1-yard hookup with Cumberland. His first NFL touchdown. 7-3 Jets right now. And keep in mind, Kenny Moose and Goose, McElroy in the game now because Tim Tebow is in street clothes due to bad ribs.
That's right, Kurt. Tebow inactive today, so McElroy, who actually led the Jets to their only offensive touchdown of the preseason, hitting Jeff Cumberland, giving the Jets the lead. Bradford's pass is caught at midfield by Steve Smith, his first reception today for a gain of 6.
Everything is challenged in this game. Yeah, hats off to both of these defenses. It's been fun to watch. I mean, whether it's the Rams offense or the 49ers offense, everything's been being earned today.
Huge play coming up for the Rams. 3rd down and 4 from midfield. 3 receivers for Bradford. On the slant. The catch is made by Brian Quick, and then it's ruled incomplete. Looked like he had it. Chris Culliver with the coverage on Quick, the rookie out of Appalachian State.
He'll be down here at the bottom of the screen, working the slant. Looks like you have it. And Chris Culliver just keeps working on the ball to get it pulled out.
That's the difference between both of these.
You know, does he have possession and with his knee down before that ball comes out?
Good play by Culliver, racing off the field as Hecker punts on his own 40-yard line. Angled towards the sideline. So the 49ers in deep. They have an 8-point lead following the terrific defensive play by Chris Culliver.
There's Aldon Smith on his side. Had a towel over his head. His right arm is bothering him a little bit.
49ers offense on the field, Goose, as Brandon Jacobs is unable to cross the line of scrimmage. Well, this year, more than 70,000 schools at 1,700 events and throughout the The creation of youth fitness zones across the country, NFL Play 60 has improved the health of millions of American children through the power of play. Visit NFLRush.com to learn how NFL Play 60 could come to your community.
Get outside and play.
60 minutes a day.
These teams play more than 60. First time they got together. Under 4 minutes remaining. Play clock is at 1. And the 49ers, did they get the timeout called? Yes, they did.
Second charge timeout, San Francisco.
We will take a break. Under 4 minutes to go here in St. Louis. Under 4 minutes remaining. 49ers lead by 8. Second and 10 from deep in their own territory. Kaepernick moving to his right. And Kaepernick is out across the 15 to the 17-yard line. Gain of 7, setting up third down and 3.
Third down and 3, and really an opportunity for Colin Kaepernick to show another dimension of his game. They talk about his escapability, his ability to have called runs like this one as part of the offense. His bigger throws down the field than Alex Smith, but what he needs to be able to do right now in this forced 4-minute situation is take the time on the clock and have this game end with that offense on the field. Alex Smith, that was one of his strong points through his great run last season.
Kaepernick out of the shotgun, third down and 3. Low snap. The pitch gets away from Ted Ginn Jr. And it's a touchdown. Recovered and rolling into the end zone, Janoris Jenkins.
Take a look at this, make sure that Janoris Jenkins got in and wasn't down by contact with Ted Ginn Jr.
End zone, touchdown.
Looks like after he gets possession, he rolls free. They just ruled touchdown. You see it? It will call touchdown on the field.
Ruled a touchdown on the field. All turnovers and scoring plays are reviewed upstairs.
Previous play is under review.
So it will either be a touchdown or Rams ball at the 1 or the 2. Jenkins, 2 touchdowns last week. We'll see if he has a third. Here's Janoris Jenkins, the rookie second-round pick out of North Alabama. This was ruled a touchdown on the field as Ginn could not control the pitch. The question is, did Jenkins have contact or have control of the football when he was contacted by Ginn? Or did he not have total control and then was able to get up and take it into the end zone? What do you think?
Well, the big thing for Ted Ginn Jr. right there is it's a bad play already. Don't make it a catastrophic play. Just recover the fumble. And I don't know. I think it's hard to tell right now. Mike Pereira, what have you seen on that play?
Well, we're trying to break it down right now, and again, you're right. If he has possession first and is then contacted, which I actually think he is, it's a pretty close play. But if you look at a shot from the inside, he might be on the helmet of Jenkins when he's got possession before he actually gets up. And that's what they'll take a look at.
And just remember right now, regardless of what is called, you know, we are an 8-point ball game. So if this is ruled touchdown, St. Louis has to come out and now convert a 2-point conversion to tie this game up. I tell you what, as soon as Janoris Jenkins saw option coming down the line, he was about 12 to 15 yards downfield. He was like a rocket coming up into that backfield.
Yeah, that last one we just saw right there looked like...
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
Yeah.
Touchdown.
So it is a touchdown. Third in the last 2 games for Janoris Jenkins. What a turn of events here in St. Louis as the Rams will go for 2 to try and tie this game.
Yeah, and it was a defensive touchdown, so get your offense together, get a great play called, get your confidence up, and come out here, convert for 2 and tie this thing at 10.
Rams 2 for 3 this season.
Steven Jackson in the lineup.
Givens in motion to the right. Movement prior to the snap.
False start. Number 76. Offense. 5-yard penalty. The try will be attempted from the 7-yard line.
That's on Roger Saffold.
Watch 76. I didn't see a flinch that time. You know, I think it's Aldon Smith coming. You're going against the NFL sack leader right now. Roger Saffold has to have the ability, to also get back and protect himself. I didn't see the little wiggle that we saw earlier in the game on that play. I feel that should have been called on Aldon Smith.
I agree, Dal. I thought that he led and drew them offsides.
So now it's Bradford from the 7 for the 2-point conversion. It is Kendricks. He's in. We are tied at 10.
This is a good job by this offense getting their composure back. He slips on the break. A little rub there. You got crossing routes. Working against Patrick Willis.
That offensive line does a nice job of giving plenty of time to Sam Bradford. But you're right, Dal. Kendricks getting in. It was close.
You got a big play to begin with. You're going to go for 2. It's 2 yards. It's difficult. It's difficult to get 2 yards down there. And then you have the penalty called, and now you're at the 7.
Yeah, but that penalty might have given him a little bit more room to go and work that route.
I'll take a 2-point from the 2-yard line over the 7-yard line anytime.
Absolutely.
So, Darryl, just a couple of minutes ago, before the last 49ers offensive play, you said big opportunity here for Kaepernick to prove that he can lead the 49ers downfield in a 4-minute situation, run out the clock with a 10-2 lead. Winds up committing the first turnover of the game. Rams capitalize, score a defensive touchdown, and convert on the 2-point conversion, tying this game at 10.
And an opportunity to just show another facet of his skill set and his game managing ability. It's the 4-minute situation. Let's convert. Let's drive this clock down to 0. Let's walk off this field, win a tough division game, and get ready for next week. And, we've talked about his escapability, his threat to run from the pocket. He is a little bit more aggressive down the field with his passes, but that was a great opportunity for him to show Jim Harbaugh, hey, I can also take this clock down.
So now with 3:04 remaining, it will be Kaepernick and the 49ers starting from their own 20-yard line. A huge turnover moments ago, and remember last year with Alex Smith at the helm, he threw only 5 interceptions. He went to throw the ball away. 49ers were plus 28. They committed only 10 turnovers, but with Kaepernick in, he might be more prone to the quarterback trying to make a play, as we saw, and he wound up turning the ball over. So now 1st and 10 for San Francisco from the 20-yard line. As Kaepernick fires and the catch is made out across the 35-yard line by Michael Crabtree for a 16-yard pickup.
But this will be another part of the growth for Colin Kaepernick. You have a bad play that leads to the Rams tying this game up, but you've got time. You're 2:45 right now. You're back out there and take them down for a field goal to win. How do you bounce back when you make the critical mistake? And in my opinion, he's a young quarterback, but he's very, very mature.
2.5 remaining, 4th quarter. From the 36, Kaepernick takes off. Kaepernick is across midfield to the 40. The Rams 30, still on his feet, and finally down at the St. Louis 14-yard line. A 50-yard run by Colin Kaepernick as we hit the 2-minute warning here in St. Louis.
one thing that everybody fears with Colin Kaepernick, the unscheduled play.
2 minutes remaining in St. Louis. A 50-yard run by Colin Kaepernick. Longest run by a 49er this season. Sets up San Francisco at the St. Louis 14-yard line in a tie game. It's Kaepernick on first down. Looking for Delanie Walker.
That's an aggressive play call right there in this scenario. Now you've got incomplete pass. Delanie Walker's right here. Hard play action. He goes to the ground and then gets back up. He's beyond everybody. Just doesn't make the catch there.
Surprised Vernon Davis didn't get called for holding on that. Somebody pass rush right by him and just grabbed the back of the jersey right in front of the official. Wasn't called.
That was Chris Long. Now on 2nd and 10, it's Gore. And Gore takes it down to the 11-yard line. Brockers the tackle. There is a flag.
Holding, number 46, offense, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Delanie Walker.
Let's go back and take a look at the big run by Colin Kaepernick. Quentin Michael's going to come on a blitz. Now, you're going to have a route call where everybody's moving to the right side of the field. Vernon Davis pulls everybody. When that play breaks down, it's like a quarterback sweep with 2 lead blockers. You got Frank Gore and Bruce Miller out in front, and it's one of the dangers when you play a quarterback that can go off schedule with a play when it breaks down and has the ability to make a play like that. To turn your back to him in coverage is a risky thing.
Longest run ever by a 49ers quarterback. Steve Young, a 49-yard run back at 88. As Gore is down at the 25 with a minute 44 remaining. The Rams use their 2nd timeout.
Frank Gore just slipped on that last play. Watch him right here. As soon as he gets the ball, he tries to make a cut and just looks like he loses his balance.
Well, Saturday, the UFC returns to Fox. Lightweight champion Benson Henderson puts his title on the line against top contender Nate Diaz, highlighting a full night of epic fights. Coverage of the UFC on Fox 5 begins Saturday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox. Here's David Akers in a 23-yard field goal earlier. Each team with 1 timeout remaining. Jim Harbaugh in the year of his quarterback, Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, you wonder David Akers' mindset right now. He missed the field goal in overtime the first time around when they played 3 weeks ago. He has the lowest percentage right now he's had in any season as a starting kicker.
Had a great year last year.
Phenomenal year last year.
3rd down and 21. Kaepernick again using his legs, using his feet. Gained some yardage for Akers. Out of bounds at the 15. So this will be a 33-yard attempt.
Well, another, as you're going through the process, another lesson for Colin Kaepernick to learn. Don't run out of bounds. Stay in bounds, take time off the clock, or force St. Louis to use their final timeout. I mean, an incomplete pass and out of bounds here on this drive.
So with a minute 38 remaining, this is for the lead from the right hash. 33-yard attempt by David Akers. And Akers bangs it through. So after allowing a defensive score, San Francisco back on top with a minute 34 remaining. Akers' 2nd field goal of this 4th quarter.
Well, we set the stage for Colin Kaepernick right before they had the pitch fumble, and then we set it again when he comes out. He does a heck of a job on that drive to go down and get the field goal. But it's been a defensive battle all afternoon, a safety that maybe wasn't a safety. And then 3 touchdowns in 2 weeks for Janoris Jenkins, Kenny.
Another 2-point conversion for Lance Kendricks. But Colin Kaepernick, moments after that crucial turnover, with a 50-yard run, setting up the go-ahead field goal by David Akers. So the Niners with a 3-point lead. A minute 34 on the clock. How about the Rams scoring plays today? A safety, a defensive touchdown, and a 2-point conversion accounting for the 10 St. Louis points.
That's a tough defense out there for the San Francisco 49ers.
So the Rams will get the ball back with 1 timeout, trailing by 3. Gibbons takes a knee. Rams will start from the 20. Rams only 4 first downs in the first half. 11 in the game. Bradford 20 of 29. Gibbons has been his favorite target.
He's taken what San Francisco has offered all afternoon. It's been short passes. We've seen him stretch the field on a couple of attempts. That's going to be the scenario here. San Francisco is not going to allow anything to get over the top in this situation.
Bradford's longest completion to a wide receiver, just 11 yards. Rams start from the 20 with 1 timeout. Bradford throws, it's dropped. Kendricks, who scored on the 2-point conversion. The intended receiver, a minute and a half remaining, 2nd and 10.
And the ball was right where it needed to be. Sam Bradford goes, releases this. He's got to hold on to that ball, especially in this situation.
Kendricks not happy with himself. 2nd and 10 for St. Louis. Rams started the season 3-2. Only 1 win in their last 6 games. Bradford on 2nd down takes off. And he slides out to the 35, so he stays inbounds, does pick up the first down as the clock continues to run.
Well, good composure in the 2-minute situation at the end of the first half.
Bradford on 1st down takes off again to the 45-yard line. And a flag, a late hit. Deshaun Goldson could not believe it.
Personal foul, helmet-to-helmet contact, number 38 defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Sam Bradford sliding first. It looks like Deshaun Goldson is committed. You don't see the helmet-to-helmet contact on that play. Now, the quarterback has protection when he goes feet first, but it really looked like Deshaun Goldson had already committed. And then there was not a helmet-to-helmet contact on the hit.
Well, we talked about the leg of Zuerlein earlier. The penalty brings the Rams all the way to the San Francisco 40. So at this spot, it's a 58-yard attempt. But the Rams have some time to pick up some more yardage. And they have 1 timeout. Penalty flag. Free play for Bradford. And he overthrows Gibbons.
Illegal formation, offense. No receivers on the right side of the formation. We're on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
So it's against the Rams. It moves the back 5 yards to the 45.
And that's inexcusable right there because, you know, they had this penalty cost them an 80-yard play in overtime, the first play of overtime against San Francisco 3 weeks ago. They had an illegal formation that negated Danny Amendola's 80-yard catch.
So now 1st and 15 from the 45 of the 49ers. Bradford over the middle to Pettis. He's tackled by Goldson. And he was... Officials are saying did he hang on to the football, and it is ruled he did not.
On the field is an incomplete pass. 2nd down.
Another look. There's Pettis. Took a couple of steps. Hit by Goldson. And then he lost control right at the end of the play.
It looked like he had control. Right
He
here,
didn't complete the process, Tony. He's got to maintain possession all the way through the catch. You can see right there, it's out. You got to go to the ground and maintain possession.
from the 45. 43 seconds remaining. Bradford to the outside, and this time Pettis makes the catch at the 40-yard line. Clock down to 30 seconds.
This offense has to hurry up a little bit. They're walking around like they got all the time in the world. Only got 26 seconds left.
It's third down and 9. Down to 20 seconds. Another short pass to Gibbons at the 35. And the clock continues to run. Zuerlein puts his helmet on. Jeff Fisher getting ready to call timeout. As the clock hits 2, so this will be
St. Louis.
a 53-yard attempt. Zuerlein missed from 58 yards out earlier. This attempt will be from 53.
As you pointed out, Kenny, his nickname, Greg the Leg, Legatron. I mean, he's got plenty of distance on that one from 58, just wide to the right. So he definitely has the leg and the distance for this kick. He's just got to get that accuracy down.
We mentioned earlier he's already hit this season from 50, 53, 56, 58, and 60. This will be a 53-yard attempt from the right hash. Hecker is the holder. If Zuerlein connects, these teams will go to overtime once again. From 53 yards out for the tie, Zuerlein's kick is good. Greg the Leg does it again. His 6th field goal from 50-plus this season.
You knew it was good as soon as he kicked it. Standing right under the goalpost. You know he's got the leg. It's just make sure he's right on line, and he was.
Did we really expect anything else, Kenny?
Absolutely not. In fact, we are so prepared that we can tell you the last time.
You can tell us, Kenny. Go ahead.
The last time, Goose, that two teams played 2 overtime games in the same season, the 49ers were involved. You have to go back to 2004. They won both by the same score, 31-28, over the Arizona Cardinals. 2 overtime games between the same opponents in one season. So we were ready, Goose.
How about ended up in a tie?
Gentlemen, we're about to begin an overtime period of up to 15 minutes. It is a sudden death overtime unless the first team that scores kicks, well, in which case their opponent will have an opportunity to possess. Fourth quarter timing rules are in effect. Gets 2 timeouts, and all of the reviews will be initiated by the replay booth. San Francisco is a visiting team that tails. He calls heads. It is tails. St. Louis takes the ball.
So the Rams will get the ball first in overtime for the second time this season. 49ers and Rams. Sam Bradford getting ready for overtime. 49ers will kick off. Coin toss has already taken place. Both teams, of course, with an opportunity to possess the ball unless the initial possession is an offensive touchdown or a defensive score. They play the entire 15-minute period in San Francisco on November 11th. 2 timeouts for each team, and all reviews are handled upstairs. Goose, you asked me a question before we went to commercial,
And you got the answer for me.
last time 2 teams finished in a tie twice in one season. 1963, Steelers and Eagles, 2 ties that year.
Within 3 weeks?
Don't have that for you. We'll check.
He's going to keep asking you questions till he stumps you, Kenny.
Man, I got to try and get him, Daryl. He's just got too much information.
Any more questions, Tony?
He's good. He's good.
All right, so here we go. A 24-24 tie 3 weeks ago at Candlestick. Rams with the ball first in overtime. Jackson able to gain a couple out to the 22, setting up second down and 8.
And we've seen a couple of times today, Aldon Smith, we talk about his ability as a pass rusher, but he stays home on this. Now everything gets clogged play side, and Steven Jackson wants to reverse fields. There's big number 99 right there. He forces him to go back inside. That's well done. We talk about him as an elite pass rusher in the NFL. He's played against the run pretty good this afternoon. Carrying that bad shoulder, too.
Givens in motion, second down and 8. Bradford with time. Finally throws. And it's Givens. It is ruled a catch at the 38-yard line of Rams first down.
That was a tremendous pass by Sam Bradford, Darryl.
He likes Chris Givens, too. He started the year as a speed guy. Everybody worried about him as a speed guy. But you can see right there, that's nice, with the route, working the sideline.
Jackson, first down and more. Finally forced out of bounds by Navarro Bowman. Steven Jackson gains 17 into 49ers territory. And there is a flag.
Holding, number 82, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's on the tight end, Matthew Mulligan.
Chris Givens limped off to the sideline there, guys. Looks like he's a little banged up right now.
There's 82 right there. Working against Ahmad Brooks. I've always said, if you're engaged and you got some jersey, as soon as the guy breaks away from you and you let go, and that's what it appeared to happen right there. Listen, I held a lot in my career, but when the guy breaks away, you let go.
I'm glad you
looked like
that.
Matthew Mulligan did that same thing. As soon as Ahmad Brooks went to pull away, he let go and allowed him to, to try and make the tackle.
The gain's a 17-yard run. Now first down and 20. The toss to Richardson. Justin Smith makes the tackle. Darrell Richardson out to the 31-yard line.
Looks like Givens is coming back in. Number 13.
Big game for Chris Givens. 10 receptions. 86 yards. Givens is one of 2 players suspended by Jeff Fisher in the first game against San Francisco. Violation of team rules, having a big day today. Jenkins was the other, and he has a touchdown. Second down and 17. Bradford off his back foot, throws. It's caught by Richardson. Short gain, so third down and long upcoming for the Rams.
Aldon Smith does a nice job. Watch him out there on the right, number 99. He's going to go and loop around. They're going to run a tackle up and then an end underneath. And he forces Sam Bradford to go and get rid of it faster than he wanted to. Sometimes it's not always a sack that really matters. It's the pressure you put on the quarterback and force him into a bad situation or a bad throw.
So now Deuce, third down and 15 for the Rams. First possession in overtime. Bradford looking for Jackson, who could not make the catch on third down, so the Rams forced a punt.
Just wanted to turn upfield before you've secured the catch. Releases out into the screen. He starts to turn before he's got that ball.
Got a couple blockers in front of him, too. A couple offensive linemen who snuck out there.
Tucker from his 22-yard line. End over end. Then lets it bounce. So now that the Rams have had a possession, next score wins here in overtime. An opportunity for Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers.
Absolutely, an opportunity for Colin Kaepernick to take that next step. It's been up and down during the course of the game today. He's had some big plays, he's had some mistakes, but he's bounced back each time. You got to give him credit for that. What does he do now with this opportunity here in overtime? It's just part of the process that he's going to go through as a quarterback in the NFL.
Bounce back in a big way following his turnover, which was returned for a touchdown by the Rams. On the next possession, a 50-yard run with Alex Smith watching from the sideline. That set up the go-ahead field goal, and then the Rams tied it with no time remaining. From the 20 in overtime. Kaepernick complete to Vernon Davis. And Davis able to gain 9 out to the 29-yard line. Only his second catch today.
How many times have we talked about it, Darryl? Solidifying the tackle after the catch. I'll tell you, one guy, Janoris Jenkins, that hasn't done that all day and really cost this team a lot of yardage.
The other thing, Tony, they still haven't made an adjustment with the coverage. I would like to see them come up and do a few different things with coverage.
49ers use a timeout. They're first. Early in overtime in St. Louis. Overtime in St. Louis. 49ers and Rams tied at 13.
That's been a defensive battle all afternoon. A safety for the St. Louis Rams, Colin Kaepernick, which might not have been a safety. Janoris Jenkins, his 3rd touchdown in 2 weeks. But they got to go for 2 to tie it at 10-10. Lance Kendricks with the catch and run after a penalty put him at the 7-yard line. And after the fumble, Colin Kaepernick comes right back on the next drive with a 50-yard run. Puts him in position to kick the field to go up 13-10. But the Rams come right back down the field. Greg Zuerlein, Legatron, from 53 yards out to put us in overtime again. San Francisco 49ers and St. Louis Rams.
And as you see on our Fox Box, 49ers will win the game should they score because the Rams have already had a possession in overtime. Here's Gore. And Gore picks up a first down. Tackled by Craig Dahl.
That's a nice tackle by Craig Dahl right there because there was nobody left. He came up and made a sure tackle on Frank Gore, and Frank Gore is kind of hanging that arm as he goes off the field.
We welcome those of you who have just joined us. Gore off the field, replaced by Brandon Jacobs. 49ers and Rams are in overtime for the second time this season. 3 weeks ago, they finished tied at 24. Colin Kaepernick in his 3rd start with the Niners. A key turnover. Rams were able to capitalize late, and now Kaepernick's pass sails away from the intended receiver, Vernon Davis, and there is a flag.
Holding, number 67. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's on Daniel Kilgore, who was in as an extra blocker.
Well, this is a hard play action fake. You've got a big vertical route at the top of the screen with Randy Moss. He's going to take off down the field. And then you've got Vernon Davis dragging across. There's the tackle, not the hold, but the tackle on Chris Long. You can't sell that one.
No.
Forces the 49ers back, 1st and 20 from their own 25. We are in overtime, tied at 13. 49ers had a 10-2 lead late. Rams tied it. Each team with a field goal in the final 2 minutes of regulation. Another incompletion, this time behind the intended receiver, Randy Moss. 2nd and 20 upcoming for San Francisco. Lowe's post-game show up next following the conclusion of this game. Will we have a winner, or will they play to a tie score for the second time this season? That earlier game was the first tie in the NFL since the Eagles and Bengals in 2008. And now Kaepernick using the 49ers' 2nd and final timeout of overtime.
2nd charge, timeout, San Francisco.
Really, really out of sync on this drive. And there's James Laurinaitis, he's controlling the entire defense from the Rams. It looked like he was 1 step ahead of Colin Kaepernick on that series.
Kaepernick today, 19 of 29, 194 yards, had a 50-yard run, but also committed a key turnover. There's Alex Smith, who started the first 9 games. This is the first full week since the change in which Smith was healthy all week. Remember, he was not cleared last week until Friday, 2 days before the game in New Orleans.
Yeah, and so this was, really the big decision, and Jim Harbaugh made it earlier in the week instead of waiting till late in the week like he did as they prepared for New Orleans.
Following the timeout, Frank Gore back on the field. 2nd down and 20. Inside handoff to Gore, who was shaken up moments ago. Not much. Jolan Dunbar makes the tackle. So a 3rd and 19 coming up for the 49ers.
Well, we sat down and talked with Greg Roman. One of the guys he said really kind of jumped out to him when he was watching the Rams defense was number 58, Jolan Dunbar, and he has not disappointed today. He's been a force from the linebacker spot.
Also rushing the passer also.
3rd down and 19. '49ers must get to the 45 for a first down, and they will not even come close as Moss is tackled by Laurinaitis at the 31.
I tell you what, you can run that little slant on Janoris Jenkins all day long. And he's just getting turned around on the releases. Everybody's beating him back to the inside. They're very fortunate it was a long down and distance that time on 3rd down.
Still giving that cushion we've been talking about all game, Darryl.
Whistles prior to the punt. False start, San Francisco.
False start, number 26. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Tremaine Brock. 5.5 gone by in overtime. The 10th quarter these teams have played against one another this season. Austin Pettis back deep for the Rams. The team directly behind the 49ers in the NFC West. The Seahawks in overtime as well in Chicago. They are tied at 17. Let him go. Good kick by Lee. Pettis backpedals to the 13-yard line. Austin Pettis out to the 27. 14 yards on the return. 60-yard punt by Lee. Well, Saturday the UFC returns to Fox. Lightweight champion Benson Henderson puts his title on the line against top contender Nate Diaz, highlighting a full night of epic fights. Coverage of UFC on Fox 5 begins Saturday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox. Another battle between these clubs. Rams and 49ers. Tied at 13 in overtime. St. Louis starting from their own 27. Their second possession here in overtime. Off the fake to Jackson. Bradford fires downfield. Some miscommunication with Gibbons.
Now, great body position by the safeties, Kenny. I mean, Chris Gibbons is trying to get deep down that sideline, but they're gonna block his path and force him to break off shallow. But the ball's already thrown by Sam Bradford. Deshaun Goldston and Dante Whitner both back there and do a nice job just kind of forcing Chris Gibbons to the sideline.
So now 2nd and 10. Keep in mind the leg of Zuerlein. Rams need about 30, 32 yards to get into field goal range. Here's Jackson. And Jackson bouncing forward to the 34, gained a couple of extra yards on the second effort.
We talk about arm tackles, and he had an arm right there at the line of scrimmage. But watch how he just keeps driving and gets another 4 yards on the play. Aldon Smith trips him up a little bit, but that guy wants it right there, Steven Jackson.
The red line out at the 42-yard line. That would match Zuerlein's season high, a 60-yard attempt. But first, the Rams must convert here with an empty backfield on 3rd down and 4. Bradford to Brian Quick. It will depend on the spot of the forward progress. It does not look like Quick has enough.
No, it's a young mistake. You've got to run your route to the distance beyond the marker. They're challenging him on the release. I mean, Brian Quick is very physical. You can't run to the marker. You have to run beyond the marker.
And a nice tackle by Terrell Brown. So Quick stopped a yard shy. Rams will punt for the 2nd time here in overtime. Ted Ginn Jr. back deep for the Niners. Off the side of Becker's foot. Not a good kick.
That's his third one today, and that's the worst of the three at the worst possible time.
Wow, it's almost near the 50-yard line. Wow.
Ball would be spotted, you're right, Goose, at midfield. A 14-yard punt by Hekker.
His punts today have either been really bad or really good.
This St. Louis defense has played outstanding all afternoon. We'll see if they got one more series left in them right here to make a stand here at midfield.
Gore in the backfield with the fullback, Miller. Now King motions into the backfield. The handoff to Frank Gore. And Gore takes it to the Rams' 45-yard line as we pass the midway point here at overtime. The Seahawks with a big win in Chicago, 23-17 in overtime over the Bears. So Seattle now with 7 wins. They're 7-5. 49ers at 8-2 with the one tie against the Rams back in November. On second down, Jacobs. Brandon Jacobs, active for only the second time this season, coming off the knee injury. Jacobs takes it to the 43. So it will be 3rd down and 3 for San Francisco on their second possession of overtime.
And I talked to Brad Seeley before the game also and asked him, you went into overtime, what would be the longest kick that you would try if it was towards the end of the game? And he said a 60-yarder with David Akers. So her down at 3.
On 3rd down, complete to Randy Moss for a 49ers first down at the St. Louis 37-yard line.
How many times, Darryl?
I don't understand it. I don't. Look at this. Are you kidding me? It's 3rd and 3. And you're going to backpedal out? I mean, that's
horrible.
Unbelievable.
Horrible. I mean, he's just giving it to him. There's no challenge whatsoever when you're 12 yards off the ball and they got to get 3. I mean, putting yourself in a bad situation.
And now it's Gore to the 34. And Goose, a moment ago, you mentioned your chat with Brad Seeley, the 49ers special teams coach, regarding David Akers, who hit a 63-yard field goal earlier this season, tying the league record. Line of scrimmage now is the 34. So you add 18. If they don't get any more yardage, this is a 52-yard attempt. There's the professor, Brad Seeley. Second down and 7 as we approach 5 minutes remaining in overtime. Here's Gore. Gore to the 33. So with no more yardage, this would be a 51-yard attempt for Akers. Missed the 41-yarder in overtime in the last meeting with the Rams. Zuerlein missed from 58 in overtime in the same game. Akers 2 for 2 today, hit from 23 and 33, both in the 4th quarter. Third down and 6. Kaepernick moving to his left. Fires it out of bounds. So here comes David Akers and the 49ers field goal unit for the win. It will be a 51-yard attempt. Akers in his 14th season. He's the Eagles' all-time leading scorer. Had a great year with the Niners last season. Set an NFL record with 166 points. He is 2 for 2 today. This kick will be from the right hash from 51 yards out. Akers for the win, and his kick is no good. Wide to the right. And this game will continue.
Oh, boy, what an emotional roller coaster this has been.
Unbelievable. I'm standing right under the goalpost. When he first kicked it, it was going right between them, and then it looked like it faded off to the right. Take a look at it right here. That ball fades out to the right. Maybe about 1.5 feet and just misses.
So Akers, as you saw, missed in overtime in the first meeting. A miss in overtime from a longer distance. So these teams have now played 145 minutes, 49 seconds in 2 games this season. Still no winner. And the Rams with terrific field position start from the 41. Jackson takes it out to the 44.
And we haven't seen this offense at any point really allow Steven Jackson to get into a rhythm. I wonder if you do it on this drive. Let's see what we got here. Give it to him again on this one.
3 times.
Yeah, you can see him. There's Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator for the Rams.
Second down and 7. Bradford hands it off to Jackson once again. And he gets stripped up by Aldon Smith at the 48. Time for a game break with Patrick O'Neill. Patrick?
Eddie, thanks. You mentioned it. Let's show you how it ended in Chicago. Russell Wilson throws it to Sidney Rice. A major collision. Major right with the hit. He did cross the goal line. They reviewed it. It was good. A final 23-17. Chicago tied with Green Bay at 8-4. Let's go back to Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, thanks very much, Patrick. Excitement in Chicago. Seahawks come away with the win. 3rd down and 3. Bradford to Givens for a Rams first down. A huge play into 49ers territory.
Big time catch, too, by Chris Givens. This is on the back hip. This is one of the harder catches you can make on a hard slant, and it gets on your back hip. You can really see him starting to develop. He's not just going to be a speed receiver much longer. He's really starting to understand the subtleties of the position.
Yeah, that's the slants you see from Danny Amendola.
Who is out today, but a big game for Givens is Jackson running hard down to the San Francisco 37-yard line.
You're right, Dal. They're trying to unleash the beast. He is running like a madman right now. He wants it. Steven Jackson. They all talk about how he runs mad. See him coming through the line of scrimmage. You got to take his legs out in order to stop that guy, but he'll run through an arm tackle, as you just saw right there.
Even Justin Smith said normally, you get ready to play the St. Louis Rams, and Steven Jackson jumps out at you all the time. He goes, I don't know what it is, but over the last 3 games, even more so than I've seen him in seasons past. And, that includes the last time these 2 teams played. I mean, he was a fierce runner the first go-around.
And remember, that game ended in a tie. Many of the players were unaware that the game would not continue. There's Zuerlein, who hopes to have a chance. So if neither team scores over these next 2 minutes, this game, like the last meeting, will finish in a tie, and you know that all of the players on both sides are well aware this time.
That would leave a real bad taste in your mouth, huh, Darryl? A tie's bad enough, but 2 ties...
Well, not only 2 ties, Tony, but, for you, it would be Pittsburgh or Cincinnati or Cleveland. Right. For me, it would be the Giants, the Eagles, the Redskins. I mean, to tie those 2. And this division, which a couple of years ago, took some lumps about the winner of that division getting into the playoffs with records that other teams in the NFC had surpassed and weren't in the playoffs. Right now, the NFC West, it is getting to be a nasty division. It's tough defense. It's physical running games. And we got some good young quarterbacks.
All the defenses are tough.
This one here is going to be fun to watch for the next couple of years. The Rams and the 49ers.
And you look at the long history between these clubs, their all-time series is tied. 61 wins apiece and 3 ties. We mentioned earlier the last teams to play 2 ties in one season against one another, the Steelers and Eagles, back in 1963. If neither team scores over the next 2 minutes, they will finish in a tie for the 2nd time this season against one another. 2nd down and 1 for the Rams from the 37-yard line as Jackson loses yardage. Justin Smith with the big push, along with Ahmad Brooks.
Yeah, a lot of push right there, penetration. I mean, Steven Jackson, he got the ball. He couldn't even take a half a step. Couldn't go anywhere. Look at the surge from that defense right there. Led by Ray McDonald.
Loss of 3.
That's what you want to do. And then backers come in and clean it up.
Now keep in mind, the 49ers would love a chance to get the ball back. Should the Rams miss a field goal, they have no timeouts left. They used both earlier. So the clock continues to run. 3rd down and 3, and now the Rams use their first timeout. And we talked to Jeff Fisher on Friday about game management, and he told us how strange it was. You're so used to managing the clock in regulation, the last 4 minutes, last 2 minutes, but it's a little bit different in overtime, and many coaches go throughout their careers without reaching this point in an overtime period.
Yeah, and one of the things that a lot of the guys talked about was the demeanor that Jeff Fisher brings to the sideline. He's very reserved, very calm the entire game, but he was, very honest with us and says, that last time we played San Francisco, I was not happy with how I controlled the clock, during that overtime session. Always can learn. There's always something you can learn, whether you're a player or a coach.
Down to 1 minute 21 on the clock. Right now it would be about a 57, 58-yard attempt if they did not gain yardage. Jackson gains a couple, but not enough for a Rams first down. Jackson just shy of the 36.
Look close right there, Kenny, with the
We will wait the
down
official
marker.
spot from the officials. It was 3rd down and 3. Looks to be just shy of the 36-yard line. Here come the chains. First down marker is right at the 36 on the far side. And Jackson did not get enough.
big decision right here. Do you go for the first down? Do you try to kick it? And if you miss, you do have time left on the clock for the 49ers offense to have a try at it.
And it's at the spot of the kick.
Yeah.
I think you take the kick. You've got a kicker with a strong leg. But right now, Sam Bradford is walking back onto the field.
It would be a 54, 55-yard attempt. Last matchup with 2 ties. You have to go all the way back to 1963.
Do you try to draw them off sides with a hard count here, Darryl? And if they don't, you just let their clock run out an extra 5 yards? I don't know.
Well, it'd be going the other way. It'd be going on you, Tony. So you have to use your last timeout to bring them out here.
They don't want to give up 5 yards from a Rams standpoint. With a potential field goal coming up.
Looks like everybody's got to figure out how to manage the clock here in overtime.
Stuff going on. Sam Bradford's smiling, though. He's happy. He's got it.
It is 4th and inches. With the play clock winding down.
I think we got some shenanigans from Coach Fisher. I think we're just going to send
run the clock
Greg Zuerlein out here in a couple of seconds.
Fisher uses his timeout. Here comes Greg Zuerlein.
St. Louis.
And the field goal unit. Zuerlein hit from 53 to send this game into overtime. He has hit 6 field goals of at least 50 yards this season, an NFL rookie record. The NFL record for any kicker is 8 by Morton Anderson. If Zuerlein connects here, it would be his 7th of the season. A 54-yard attempt for the win. From the right hash, Hecker will place it down with 30 seconds remaining in overtime. Greg Zuerlein from 54 yards out, and his kick is good. He's done it again. sent the game into overtime with a 53-yard field goal with no time remaining in regulation. And now he wins the game with a 54-yarder in overtime to defeat the San Francisco 49ers. We will return to St. Louis to wrap up this wild game after these messages.